All right, we're back with another episode of the Ghost Files. Welcome back, everybody. We got a good one today. Another 2-for-1 episode. Ava and Alana joining me. Welcome, guys.
Hello, thank you for having us.
For those that don't know, these two ladies, maybe do you guys want to maybe just describe a little about yourself?
Yeah, I'll go first. My name's Alana. Um, I have three siblings. Two of them are older. I have a younger brother. I play field hockey and ice hockey lacrosse. That's basically it.
Nice. Okay, I'll go. So I'm Ava. I have two siblings, like Alana was saying. I'm the youngest. I play soccer and I don't know where I'm going to college, so that's a good time.
Fantastic, fantastic. Had to start off with the icebreaker, of course.
Of course.
So let's just jump into it. Obviously, senior year, we're like over halfway through now. How has it been for you guys?
Um, so for me, obviously field hockey is a fall sport. So I was really lucky to have the season, even though it was very different this year. So I was really thankful for that. I switched to all remote a few weeks ago, um, just because I like doing school in my bed. So that's been nice. I mean, it's weird not seeing everyone's school, but um, yeah, it's been a weird senior year, but it's going okay.
Yeah, kind of going off what you're saying. Obviously, it was definitely weird, like having a changed season for soccer. Since we were looking forward to it for, or like our senior season for a while, but so that was definitely different. But I am in the hybrid. I'm in Pod B, which is like Lana was saying, it's really weird because sometimes I just don't see anyone from the other pod, which is kind of sucks because although like sometimes it was stressful at certain times with like our whole grade in the school, now it's like we don't have lunches, like we don't have anything, so it's just really weird.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't know you were going full remote, but I'm kind of jealous because sometimes I wake up and I'm like, what's stopping me from just joining the Google
Yeah.
Meet instead of getting up? But yeah.
Yeah.
Um, as you guys mentioned, you both played fall sports, which we'll get into in a little bit later. But we talked about senior year so far. What are you looking forward to for the rest of senior year? With maybe the chance that we could, with the vaccine and stuff like that, there's a chance we could do something that's like quote unquote normal.
Yeah, I would say like last year we were gonna have Catil, but then obviously we didn't because the pandemic hit. So I think it'd be really fun if we could at least have our prom, even if it's like different from years past. I think just something with our whole grade, because as Ava said, like we're really divided this year. I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, I agree with that, but also I feel like there's like a good chance that something like that will happen because they've had like if you think about it, I was kind of talking about this with some other people, but um since this happened like to the seniors last year, I feel like they have like so much more time to prepare. So I'm kind of hoping that they'll have something or like maybe they'll find like a creative way for it to happen. But I'm also I feel like Disney is just very unlikely, which is
Yeah.
definitely sucks, but I feel like people will probably find a way to maybe if it's safe to go on like special little like trips with their friends or just anything like that to kind of like making some cool memories before everyone leaves. But that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I totally agree. administration did say like for prom they have like a plan B, C, and D, which
Yeah,
like
I feel that.
I'm not sure how you can have that many plans for like just a school dance, but
Yeah.
it's a good thing to hear, definitely, and we kind of just have to wait it out and see what happens, but definitely gotta just stay positive.
Yeah.
So that was senior year. Now let's look forward to the future a little bit. How is the college process or college application process and all that jazz going for you guys?
Um, so my top two schools right now are Loyola New Orleans and San Diego State. I'm leaning towards San Diego State just because I've always wanted to go to school in California, and it's like a lot bigger. Um, but over April break, I'm visiting New Orleans. Um, so I mean, maybe I'll really like it there, but right now I'm most likely going to San Diego.
So for me, I applied to 12 schools. Well, I just finished applying like within the past month, but I'm kind of torn between. So basically, I have kind of a dilemma because I'm going between like schools I like, but also potentially playing soccer. So it's like it's the school, like those schools that I applied for are like pretty different, but probably I would say my top school that I like the most is WPI. Um, Originally, which is kind of funny, I wanted to go to California too. And I think I'll honestly still end up living there eventually, but just as of right now, I feel like there's too many things like holding me back. But yeah, I definitely like WPI the best right now.
Very cool, very cool. Alana, those two schools you mentioned are obviously not too close to New England. Was that like something you like strived for? Like you were when you were looking at colleges, you're like, I'm trying to go far away, or is that just kind of how it happened?
No, yeah. I've always known I want to go far away. My mom actually, the closest school I applied to was Penn State, because my mom wanted me to apply to a school we could drive to, just in case I can't, I can't go too far because of the pandemic. But yeah, I applied. I actually was gonna tell you this. I also applied to not Arizona State. The
Arizona State?
Are you going to Arizona State or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so I
did
applied to the
you applied there?
and I was gonna say something to you about it, but yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, no, I applied
interesting.
far schools.
Wait, so you applied to Arizona State or University of Arizona?
University of Arizona.
Okay. Big difference. Small difference,
Yeah.
but big
Oh,
difference.
I
So yeah. Don't worry. Don't want to mix those up. Definitely. Um, and for you, Ava, you mentioned possibly playing soccer in college. How is that like exploring those options been?
Um, Kind of difficult because I've had like a harder time making the decision because like I have been kind of looking to play like for a variety of club teams, but I just like joined a new one recently and I hadn't been able to play for the past 2 years, which like obviously affects the way like your scouting works. So I recently just joined a new team, but I couldn't the past 2 years because last year obviously because of COVID, but the year before that I had like a really bad injury, so I couldn't start playing sports again until like it was like June or July, and by then like the club season is practically over. So it's been kind of weird. Like I've basically just been emailing a lot of coaches and like I'm still undecided. Like honestly, I might end up just going to a school just for the school, but I also might just play like club or something like just in college. So I'm still very undecided, I would say.
Gotcha. Um, so we talked about going to colleges based off location and maybe athletics. What academics or what major would you guys choose in whatever college you go to?
So I'm gonna major in criminal justice, and I'm thinking about going pre-law, um, which I have not completely committed to that because I'm not sure what route in criminal justice I want to go. Um, but I'm definitely looking into pre-law.
So for all of my schools, I applied to just general psychology, but I think yeah, last year I took um psychology at WA, and our first project we actually like researched a variety or like a different variety of fields in psychology, and my project was on sports psychology, and that's actually like the field that I want to specifically go into because it's like helping it's kind of like helping athletes after injuries sort of, and like the mental state that they're kind of in. But if if I decide to not go that route, then I might just go with maybe being like a psychologist or like a therapist or something like that.
Interesting. Very two unique majors, definitely. It's cooler than like marketing or something like that. No offense to marketing people, but um so besides college, obviously the next 4 years will be interesting. No matter what way you go. Is there anything that you are looking forward to doing in the future or the next 4 years that isn't like necessarily academic related or anything? Maybe if it's a hobby or just like something you've always wanted to do when after leaving Westford.
This kind of has something to do with school, also just in general. I really want to study abroad. Um, that's always been like a really big thing for me. So I'm hoping um, we can get COVID under control. So that's actually an option. But outside of that, I think I'm gonna try to start like a field hockey club team at San Diego State because they don't have one because field hockey is like an East Coast thing. But I've been talking to a lot of girls that are going there, and a good amount of them like play field hockey. So I think it'd be fun just to start up something casual there. So yeah.
That's cool. Um, for me, I definitely want to go abroad, like Alana was saying, but I more just like wanna, whether it's through spring break or like even our vacations, like Alana was saying, if COVID is under control, I just wanna like travel, hopefully if I have the money and like the resources to do that. But kind of going off that, it's kind of random, but I want to go skydiving really badly. So that's definitely on my bucket list for the next 4 years. I don't know where I'll do it, but I definitely want to do that before I graduate from college.
Very, very interesting answers there. Obviously, traveling is probably like the number one answer of that question, and study abroad. It's kind of like it's a really cool opportunity that obviously a lot of people are into. But skydiving, that's something I want to do, but I don't think it's gonna happen. It's just like it's like the thing you write on the bucket list that you're like, you write it at the bottom so you don't have to look at it, but it's on there.
Why? Are you like afraid of heights or something?
Yeah, I'm like I feel like I'm just like someone that overthinks everything. So like I feel like getting on the plane is like half the battle because I'll be like
Yeah.
before I even get on, I'll be like, well, the plane's gonna blow up. So it's just
Yeah.
it's over for me.
I feel like once I've seen a few videos where like people are obviously like majority of people are scared to do it, but they're literally like at the top and they don't want to go out the door and the people just like throw them out. Like they just like force them out of the plane. So I mean, I feel like you're right. If you just get up there, then it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's like just you just can't overthink it, I guess. Which obviously that's half the battle.
Yeah.
But
I would do the same thing. I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
yeah, I think someone would have to like knock me out, and then I'd have to wake up and then be on the plane already. I'd
Yeah,
probably
it'd be perfect.
yeah, that'd be the move, definitely. Um, back to the club field hockey thing. That's actually pretty interesting and unique. How did that idea kind of get into your brain that you're like, oh, that'd be something that I would be interested in doing?
So the sports they have a surf team and like a wakeboarding team, and I do not know how to do either of those things. So I was thinking of like a good way to like meet people and like friends with similar interests. Because I haven't decided yet because they're big. San Diego State's like a big Greek life school, and I haven't decided yet if I want to like join a sorority. Like I'm kind of iffy on that. So I thought this would be a good way to like meet people outside of like my classes and stuff. And it would just be like a super casual thing. So yeah. And I've talked to people already and they're like, yeah, like I'd love to just like, just something casual and like just to get outside. And well, obviously they're always outside there, but
Yeah. No, that's cool because, like you said, I feel like there's a stereotype where it's like if you don't join a frat or a sorority, like you're not gonna make the most of college or something like that. And it's like there's so many clubs and just different activities you can do that isn't related to frats or sororities. And like for your like I heard this interview of a like an Arizona State player who joined like the club lacrosse team because like lacrosse isn't a West Coast thing, kind of like field hockey. So and like he talked about how like he met all his friends through that, and it's pretty cool what you can do by just making a club one day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's see. Um, okay, back to sports. Obviously, we touched on it a little bit. You guys, field hockey, soccer, pretty pivotal roles on the WA teams. So how did you get your start in your um, respective sport, and how like when did you decide that like, oh, this is my go-to sport?
So for me actually, I started in 7th grade at Blanchard and I actually almost didn't do it. But the tryout got canceled because of bad weather. And then I went home, I was like, Mom, I kinda wanna try field hockey. So I did. And I actually didn't make varsity until my junior year. But then I worked really hard that summer and stuff. So I got captainship my senior year, which was I was really, really excited about. But yeah, I don't know. Um, I just love the girls on the team all through all through high school and in middle school. It's just really fun and it's a different sport. I mean, we get a lot of a lot of hate because people think it's easy and stuff. But I don't know. I just really like it, and that's why I like want to continue it in college.
That's good. For me, I have been playing soccer for forever. Like I kind of had mentioned before, I had like played club and everything, so I kind of knew that it was more than just like a middle school phase, which is totally fine. Like some people just stop sports in middle school, which like I totally understand. But I just knew that I mean, honestly, growing up I had heard so much about like the varsity team at WA, and I had even grown up like watching their games, which was like super intimidating because I was like, there's no way I'm ever gonna like be on this team or like be a captain or anything. But my freshman year, when we went to the tryouts, the seniors were like so intimidating, and I was like, there's no way. And so actually that year I made JV, and it was a pretty fun season. Like we had a lot of different people on that team, but it was like really fun. And then the next year, my coach that was for JV, she became the varsity coach actually. And so my freshman year, the girls that were on that team, they made it all the way to I think it was like the state finals, and so their team was like insanely good. And but my sophomore year, that's when I made it, and um, our defense was pretty interesting. Like we kind of had to build it up and like gain chemistry, but pretty quickly I after that I had gained my position as a center back, and then ever since I kind of kept that, which is pretty cool. And then the end of my junior season, I was declared as one of the captains, and like Alana said, that was just like it was the coolest feeling. Like you finally were able to like call yourself that. Not like in a braggy way, but it was just kind of like you were proud of yourself that you had like worked for that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Seeing like when I was a freshman watching the varsity field hockey games,
Yeah.
I was like, they're so good.
I know.
And so intimidating.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that like we are those intimidating people is really weird.
I know.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting because you got like soccer where you kind of have to start. You don't have to, but a lot of people start playing at a young age, and then you have field hockey, which kind of gets introduced like usually to people in middle school, which is like it's interesting because I've been in like both situations. Like I've played basketball for like basically my whole life, but I also started playing volleyball only freshman year, and like it just it's interesting how sports get introduced in different times of your life and how they can impact you like that.
Yeah, I remember Alana and I like kind of did the same thing like in I think it was it 7th or 8th grade? I don't really remember, but
Yeah.
we just some of our friends we just like created a girls volleyball team because I think they had boys. I'm actually not sure. They might have, but like a few of our friends like we just came together and mainly the people that actually played, but we were like this seems super fun and like we played in 8th grade and it was just like it was super cool just actually being able to play like as a grade, but also just like starting a new sport. Like it was just kind of crazy because it was just such a new experience. And I bet Dan, you can like relate to that.
And you meet like new people.
Yeah, true.
Oh yeah, like because you're kind of all learning at the same time in a way. It's not like there's people like way ahead of you, unless obviously you're in high school and there's like seniors and stuff. But and then obviously all walks of life because volleyball basically it's all the kids just that don't play lacrosse or so it's just like literally could be anybody, which is interesting. So in your time with these sports, what do you think is the biggest like lessons you've learned that you take with you off the field?
For me, it's definitely to work hard and eventually like good things will come out of it because I was like devastated my sophomore year when I didn't make varsity. And then I still play JV, but then the summer leading up to tryouts, I like worked so hard. Like every day I would go out and at least practice for like 15 minutes or sometimes I practice, for an hour. And like when I made the team and like when I became captain, I was like, if little sophomore me could see me right now, she'd be like so proud. So definitely my biggest takeaway is just work hard and eventually good things will come out of it.
Yeah, I definitely would say the same for soccer, but also another thing is like obviously everyone always jokes about how like WAGs is a cult and honestly it is and I like that. Like that is one thing I admire about our team because I know like everyone thinks we're crazy, but like when you're in it, it's so much better than like it might seem to be because well, going to like your question, I would say like my biggest takeaway is just to like value the time because I remember even as a freshman and a sophomore, like when I first made the actual team, I started out at like this little camp that we do every single year and I was like, oh my God, it's my first year. Like, how are these people like captains and seniors and stuff like that? And then like the next second, like it's your last game and you're just like, there's no way that this is done. And I don't know, there's just certain things about our team that especially like traditions and things like that that just make it like so special and some of the relationships I've made are literally like lasting. Even if you're not like best friends with someone in school or anything like that, like I'm still equally as close with some of those people that like when compared to some of my best friends. So it's a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, totally. I can relate in that like perspective because I obviously missed out on volleyball season last year because of COVID, and during maybe freshman and sophomore year, people like some players, I'd be like, oh, like this dude's getting on my nerves. And then, next thing when you don't have it, you're like, man, I miss that guy. Like even like if it was busting my chops and like vice versa. But it's just like you gotta just like, you can't take for granted the moment you're in because, it flies by. Definitely. All right. We're rounding the corner here towards the end. We're getting into some more like high school oriented questions. Let's see. How do you think you've changed the most since freshman year?
Good question.
Wow, that is.
Okay.
He was laughing because she knows I've changed a lot. Definitely, my freshman year, I definitely cared a lot about what people thought of me. And I think now, definitely now, I just surround myself with like people that like lift me up and stuff, and I don't really worry anymore or like have it affect me like how other people like perceive me. Just to be like more self-confident about like who I am. So I think that is a really important thing that I learned, especially before going off to college, just to know that like you can always find your people. And yeah, just to like be confident and you'll find people who accept you for who you are, and to just live your life and not really worry about what other people are saying about you or thinking about you.
Yeah, I can definitely agree and like relate to that because I mean, I feel like that's kind of like what a lot of people are like, which it's not always like a huge issue. I mean, sometimes people just think or are really self-conscious, so like it makes sense if you think about like how people perceive you, but especially with the two different schools combining, I feel like it was just natural that that would happen. Like you were kind of just like, oh, what are these people like certain things like that. And honestly, it was kind of cool like Alana said, once you finally realize that it doesn't really matter like who you're friends with, it's more about like the relationship you have with them. I feel like it allows you to actually meet, like depending on different friend groups, it allows you to meet like such a variety of people, and you're really just connecting with like the people that you're meant to be friends with rather than just like connecting with people for like the benefits or like whatever it is. It's I don't know. I feel like it just makes me value my friendship so much more because I was really just looking for like the people I want to surround myself with.
Yeah, like me and Ava, like we've been friends like since like middle school, but like we really only got like super close. Like I don't know, Ava, I'd say like sophomore or even like
Yeah.
junior
Like
year.
yeah, like probably like the end of freshman year
Yeah,
ish.
yeah, but like and like the friends we have now, like we'll shout out Reese and Eric. Like I didn't like I wasn't really friends with them at all freshman
Yeah.
year. So Ava walked into ukulele class and was like, "I'm talking to a boy," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, who?" Yeah,
Yeah,
just like
that's when it started.
yeah. So like you eventually find your people.
And like kind of touching like what you said, like obviously Alana and I have, like you said, we had been friends like just like friends for a while, like since middle school, but once we that's what I think is important is like there are some people that I've met like this year that I'm like so close with, and I feel like sometimes you have to value like I was saying earlier, the relationship that you have with people rather than like the length of time because like there are some people that obviously I still value being friends with a person for like a really long time, but sometimes I feel like there's like those certain people that just like creep into your life and then you're like best friends with them after like a month and it just continues like it's I don't
Yeah.
know, it's cool.
Yeah, 100%. Like I've said this before, but I think middle school, like most of it is just based off like your personality kind of just revolves around who you're friends with. Like,
Yeah.
and they just like, that's the most important thing. Like, oh, are you friends with, do you know this person? Do you know that person? And when you get to high school, like the borders to that kind of just like open up, and it just like no one cares who is friends with who. And I think our class is good with that, in the fact that like you can really be friends with anybody. Like I've talked to like so many different people that like I went to middle school with them and I didn't even talk to them once, and like now I'm really good friends with them, or stuff like that, or like kids from Blanchard that I was like never even knew, and now I'm like really good friends with them. So stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
100%. Alrighty. Favorite high school memory?
That's the hardest question ever.
Think about this a second.
It is a hard one. It is a hard one.
Dan, do you have your answer? Because I kind of want to hear it. If you want to go first.
Yeah, I can go first. I'd probably say the junior year spirit rally, when I won the watermelon toss. That was a goated moment in my book. But
Who were you partners with again?
Alex Blaze.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And
That was a hype moment.
that was a peak moment.
Yeah, that was cool.
But it's definitely tough to pick. Like there's so many times. I think junior year was just, obviously before COVID, was like really fun. So
yeah.
I honestly, this might be lame to say, but like, I feel like just hanging out with like friends in general, like, it's always just, there's always so much craziness like going on with school and grades and tests and all of this, and just having like looking forward to like weekends when you can hang out with your friends. That's always going to be like my favorite memories of just like fooling around, or like just having fun and like being teenagers. I can't really think about a specific like in school experience, but if I do, I'll get back to you, Ava, if you want to go.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in school is definitely way harder because we haven't had like a ton of like in class moments. Like, I mean, like with our whole class, like I feel like honestly, if we had a spirit rally this year, like prom, if it ends up happening, then it would definitely be that. But for like outside of school, I feel like I would just say like just looking forward to like the summer is such like a good drive for me, because like I would say like some of my best moments have been in this past summer, even though like COVID was definitely a big issue and you had to be really like mindful of that and continue in being like safe. But even in not just this summer, like summers prior, just being able to like go to someone's lake house or like a beach house or like anything like that, and you just like have those moments where like everyone's just like very in the moment and you can like talk about anything and like do whatever you want. I just feel like those moments are like so surreal. Like it's, you just like feel really comfortable and happy and you're not thinking about like what assignments you have to turn in or like anything like that. Like it's just super in the moment, and I don't know, I just feel like moments like that, like I can just like think of it like so quickly.
Yeah, I also think going off what Eva said, like especially now when we're getting like college decisions back, and some of us are like committing to college and thinking about like I'm moving across the country, like, and like a lot of our other friends are like going to like different states, and like we're all going to be separated like this time next year. So I think especially now, like I value the time we have together like so much more, because I know it's going to be a lot harder to like get together after we all go off to college.
yeah, I totally agree. Just like what you said, just the feeling of being a teenager in a way where like there's no like fixed schedule in a way, especially in the summer, like, and just the on the fly moves, like after a football game, it's like, oh, we're going to Chipotle, we're going to this person's house and stuff like that, and you just end up like wherever, like like who knows where the night's going to take you, kind of cliche, but that kind of it's just cool because like you said, it's like definitely in the moment, and you're not really thinking about the future or the past, you're just kind of like in it with your friends, and it's just a real feeling.
Just like quickly going off that, another thing I just thought of is like one moment in particular, like of this summer, considering like COVID was a big impact. I feel like the spike ball tournament was like,
That
I don't know
was
why, but those days
yeah,
were
that
so
might
full of like just spur of the moment. Like the second you were describing that day, and I feel like that's what I thought of from this summer because it was hard to like go anywhere because obviously you didn't want to risk like anything. But like after I remember like even if I had like work before that and I was like super tired, I would whenever my game was like I would go and I would go like an hour early and I would watch everyone else and then I would play and it would be like super fun and then I remember after that like one day Alana like we went to that bridge in Harvard I think
oh
and we went to this really cool place and went like bridge jumping into this like pond or something and then after that it was just like the same thing like we like saw the sunset and went and had like a bonfire and it was just like everything was spur of the moment and it was just even like with COVID we were still able to kind of make things work and like stay safe and I feel like that's pretty like that was just a cool day.
Yeah, this summer 2020 is interesting because, like you said, there's not much we can do, but at the same time, that kind of like emphasized the little things,
Mhm.
like you said, like bridge jumping and sunsets that kind of like have a bigger spot in your brain because of just how little we had last summer.
Yeah.
Like for me, I know my friends just one day we randomly started playing soccer like every night at nutting, and it's like I don't even play soccer, but like that'll be like a core memory I'll have until
Yeah.
like I'm like 70. So stuff like that.
It was
It's
also just
just
cool because like considering it was tough to go inside, like because of COVID and everything, I feel like you just touched on that, like, we were outside, like, 95% of the day, and if I was inside, it was, like, me running into my house to, like, get, like, a bathing suit. Like, I feel like it was just, like, everything was outside, which was just so nice. I feel like you were saying, like, we would be outside, like, playing sports, and then at night, it would always be, like, things outside, like bonfires or, like, especially seeing the sunsets outside and everything, it was just which honestly I liked, like, it was a good change rather than
yeah.
just being, like, cooped up in people's basements, like, normal times.
yeah. I was about to say the stereotypical bunch of high schoolers in a basement on their phones
Yeah.
kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, the soccer, the spike ball, like stuff like that, just things that obviously we kind of like Carter did that in spur of like not having a lot to do that summer. It's like things we did on the fly in response to not having much. It was just like really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the flip side of that question, biggest regret from high school.
Oh goodness.
Oh, I have one, but
um yeah, so I have not had the best high school experience ever. And I think I kind of touched on this before, but I think my biggest regret was trying to like change myself for people to like me or like want to be friends with me. Because I think for a while like I struggled with that. Um, like why don't these people like me? Like why don't they want to be friends with me? And I think I really that really like took up a lot of space in my head and kind of like brought me down. So I think my biggest regret, like if I could tell little freshman me this, was to just like be yourself and like it'll all work out. So yeah, my biggest regret is definitely like caring too much about what people think of me and letting that affect me.
yeah. Um, I feel like mine would kind of be I feel like I don't know, right when I entered high school, I thought like obviously I knew it was going to be challenging and everything, but I feel like I didn't really fully understand like how stressed out you can get and how like sometimes it feels like it's like never going to end like the stress of like obviously when we get older like we start working in high school too, but I'm saying like just even at the beginning like having sports and having so many assignments and then you're like what else am I going to do during the day? Like kind of like Dan was saying, I'm very much like an overthinker. And so I feel like I would kind of tell myself like sometimes you don't need to over stress yourself out, because I feel like there would be so many times where I would literally just sit down and like think like about it would be like a Monday and I would be like, think about all of the things you have to do this week, like especially during soccer season, like you have practice every single day till this time and then you have this lab due and like blah blah and like and part of me would always be like, and on the weekends, like you have to worry about this too. And I feel like if I kind of just told myself to like make sure you take in the good moments when you have it, because honestly those were the major things that like helped me to power through. And kind of like Alana said, like it was like the every weekend like break that like
Yeah,
helped get through each week. And
we're still doing that.
yeah, and I just feel like I would just tell myself like you're gonna get that assignment done eventually. Like it's not like you're just gonna like disregard everything, and you're gonna do it to like the best of your ability, and it's gonna be fine. Like you don't need to stress out about like what grade you're gonna get or like anything like that.
Yeah. Um, I totally relate. As in, like, I feel like honestly, high school is kind of like cut into two halves for me. Like, obviously, it is normally with underclassmen and upperclassmen, but like the freshman and sophomore, I wasn't like really my true self. I feel like kind of like what you guys said. Like, I overthink stuff, and like I was just worried about what other people wanted from me or like what I should do for other people rather than doing me. And like, oh, what should I do to like be friends with this person and stuff like that rather than, I'm just going to do me. And then junior year, I do stuff more up my alley. I start broadcasting the basketball games, stuff like that, or like, just yelling in the student section. But, and it actually like worked out for me in the long run because, when I started doing stuff that actually I wanted to do, I actually made more like memories and connections over that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
that's really cool.
Like, I like vividly remember after like a basketball game, Jake Barisano came up. For anyone that doesn't know, captain of the basketball team last year, he was like, "Oh, were you yelling in the student section?" And then he was like, "Oh, like you're the man." So I was like, "Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
no biggie, no biggie. It's whatever."
I remember
So,
that like so vividly for some reason. Like you just screaming, but it was so funny. Like it hyped everyone up so
Oh,
much too.
100%. I was excited for our football season this season because I knew that
I
you were going to
know.
rally us all up. And we
Yeah.
didn't have it. I don't even know what they're doing with it now, but it's definitely
yeah.
appreciated. Someone's got to get it started.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like obviously we don't have games now, so it's like looking back, I'm kind of glad that I made the most of
Yeah, that's
last
true.
season. Which I mean, who knows? We might have spring sports, and who knows what they're doing with football. But obviously, make the most of the moment.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Here's the grand finale question here. So let's say you travel back in time and to 2017 freshman year, and you see freshman year self. What advice would you give to them before they start the next 4 years?
Um, I would probably say that everything's going to turn out okay. Because I've I've been through. I'm pretty open about this, so I'm gonna be open about it now. I've been through a lot of mental health battles. I've been hospitalized multiple times for it throughout high school. Um, I've really struggled a lot, and I think if I just told my freshman self, like I got into my dream school, like since I was 12 years old, I wanted to go to San Diego. So I think if I could have advice to tell her, I would tell her everything's gonna work out. Like you're gonna find your best friends ever, and they're amazing, and you're gonna like get into your dream school, and like everything's gonna be okay. And like yeah, you have to go through all this hard stuff, but like I am thankful for it because I've met so many cool people, and I think I've obviously have had to, but I also like am thankful that I've grown so much. So I think just to tell her that it's all gonna work out, you just gotta let it play out, and it's all gonna be okay.
Yeah. Um, I feel like that's definitely a good thing to tell yourself just because like everyone has like huge uncertainties sometimes, and especially just like thinking about like when you're a freshman and you're like, I have 4 more years. But I think I would just tell myself like time's gonna fly, because it did. And um kind of just to like tell yourself that you have to really take every moment and like value it, because I feel like sometimes like there would be, like I was saying, there would be certain things that would just really stress me out. But like in the end, if you think about it, like your work ethic and everything like that, just for that moment, no matter like how stressed out you were, will benefit you. And it's like every little thing that you did, like it's gonna help you along the way. And not only just in school, but like I was saying with soccer, and especially like with your friends. Like you're not, sometimes you don't have like a free weekend, and like that's when you miss all of those moments. And especially when we go to college, it's going to be like you're going to miss those times when you thought that like submitting your vocab on Friday was like the biggest stress of your life. And it's like
Yeah.
it's, I don't know, it's just, I feel like you, like I was saying, like in college you're going to miss like that team or like that friend group. And it's just, I feel like you have to value it when you're there, because like soon enough it's just going to be all over
Yeah. I agree with
sometimes.
that. Like, don't take things too seriously.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
100%. Totally agree. Well, that'll wrap it up. I want to thank you guys for joining the podcast.
Thank you for
Thank
doing
you,
this.
Dan.
So cool.
Anytime, feel free to come back on, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I just want to say that this is like super impressive that
Yeah.
someone in our school has like actually been able to start this. I just feel like this is like
So cool.
such a good way to like talk and get so many different opinions.
Yeah. Also, like your major in Arizona State. I'm excited to say. Like, it's so I'm like so excited for you because obviously like
Yeah.
you love it, and I know like you're gonna kill it. And I'm excited to like. I feel like I'm gonna like hear you on the radio one day. I'm gonna be
Literally.
like, we
It's
did a
too
podcast
perfectly.
back in 2020.
Well, thanks for the kind words. Nothing like ending the podcast with just you guys boasting my ego, but I appreciate it.
Perfect.
Yeah. All righty. Yeah. Yep. So thank you everyone for listening to the Ghost Files podcast. I'm Dan Allison, and see you later.